Rumbling Hearts is a 14-episode long romantic slice-of-life series that I picked up for about $5 a while back, and I just decided to watch this a few weeks ago because I wanted something to just halfway pay attention to and watch, because I thought it would be complete garbage, and I felt that it would be everything that was wrong with all of the other slice-of-life shoujo romance series in anime, but it actually did a lot of the things right that other romance slice-of-life series get wrong, but at the same time it does a lot of other wrong things as well. The main thing that I like about this is that this is different. The characters here are young adults. They're not actually high school students anymore. They start off as high school students, but then they grow older. It has a little bit of a time skip, and you can see them when they're young adults, and then there are occasional flashbacks to when they're younger, and that's fine, but the characters for the most part of the story are young adults, and I really appreciated that. Secondly, the story is kind of mature. The concept of it is Takayuki is in this love triangle. He doesn't know who he really wants to be with. There's one girl who was his high school sweetheart. She had an accident and now she's in a coma in the hospital for years. And then there's the other girl who was his girlfriend's best friend, but he's with her now, and the relationship he has with her is real. So for the first half of Rumbling Hearts, it feels almost like a real relationship, because Mitsuki will come over to Takayuki's apartment, and she will cook breakfast for the both of them. They'll sit around and just talk about normal everyday things, like work or things that had happened to them, and also the possibility of them moving in together, and then they'll do other things which you don't really find in other shoujo slice-of-life romance series, such as kiss, have sex, and things like that. I wasn't looking for that, but these are things that are real that you don't see in a lot of other anime, because they're always so cute and innocent, and they always dance around these things that people do within their real lives. And overall, that's what I liked about the series the most, that it was a bit more mature than I was expecting. The characters were a little bit older, and it just felt real at certain parts of it. And then randomly we are reintroduced to Haruka as she wakes up from her coma, and then that's where this big love triangle begins. To be honest with you, I wouldn't say that Mitsuki is the best character from the series. She is, but it's more appropriate if I say that she is the only good character out of the series. The rest of the characters feel very bland and very empty, and a lot of them feel completely unnecessary. And here we have Haruka. Haruka is Takayuki's high school sweetheart, and here she's finally waking up out of her coma. And even in the beginning of the series, I disliked her character just because my general taste in women finds this very unattractive. She's this very sensitive, very dependent, very weak-willed, and very innocent and sheltered woman. Her ideal of a raunchy afternoon would be sitting on a cliff just crossing pinky fingers barely after like an hour of sitting there and like looking at each other once, and that would be it. She's so sheltered, and I really disliked her character. And then she finally wakes up from this accident. Now the accident is a whole other situation in itself because it's not explained. So apparently because Mitsuki held up Takayuki from going to the train station to meet with Haruka, she got into an accident. We don't know what it is, but I imagine that this speaks volumes about how dependent she is and how needy she is, that because he was late, she got into a train accident? What other types of accidents can you have at a train station? Did she get hit by a train because he was late? Did she try and kill herself or something? We don't know. So here she wakes up out of her coma, and Takayuki is feeling very guilty about it, and so is Mitsuki, but the difference is that Takayuki, he will go to the hospital and he will spend a lot of time with her, and he doesn't understand his feelings. He confuses guilt with love for her, and then that's where the series gets set off into being this big love triangle, and that's really all that I'm going to say about that. The first part of the series is mostly just the relationship between Mitsuki and Takayuki, but then the second half is this whole love triangle, and honestly, I did not like the second half of the series. The character of Takayuki is so bland, and all we know about his personal life is that he's lazy as hell, won't do anything for himself, doesn't understand his emotions, and that he has a job at some restaurant somewhere. And we will see scenes of him working here, like halves of certain episodes, and we see him at this restaurant too much, and the work scene, I feel, is trying to force development or force some sort of relation to this character where you can feel that the character has grown on you just because you've sit here and watched him do mundane things, but it was unnecessary. There are certain parts of the story that unfold at work, but only because his personal life spilled over to work. It had nothing to do with work itself. It could have happened in the park, or at a train station, or anywhere really. It didn't have to be at work. And moving on to Mitsuki. She has flaws in her personality that make her seem realistic, like she will seem very troubled and distressed and depressed at times, and that will cause her to act out and do certain things that she will later regret. This feels very real because I could see things like this happen in reality, and a lot of the things that she does only because she is left without a choice, because Takayuki has been such a piss-poor, terrible boyfriend to her that she's left with no other choice than to do these things. And you could tell that she really loved Takayuki because she would do so much for him. She would go to his apartment, she would wash his clothes, clean his apartment, cook him food, have sex with him, do all sorts of stuff with him. Then he turns around and treats her like this because I don't even understand what he could see in Haruka, because she was so sheltered, so immature. Even before this accident which left her in a coma, there was so much wrong with her personality that I don't understand why he would want her. Of course, Takayuki is no prize himself, but Mitsuki, how can you turn down Mitsuki for Haruka? It doesn't make any sense, but here we have the whole second half of the series, which I'll leave up to you in case you want to watch it, but I felt that it was mostly mindless melodrama. However, I do have to give credit to the ending of the series because everything had a good wrap-up to it. All the loose ends were tied up, and it didn't really leave you hanging with anything. So Rumbling Hearts, it's 14 episodes long, and I think that they could have had this down to about 9, maybe even 8 episodes if they would have taken out all of the unnecessary characters and also taken out all of the whole work situation with Takayuki. It was useless, and it just dragged out the story and made it longer for no reason. So moving on to the overall presentation, I felt that the anime could have been a whole lot better. This was made in 2003, and the animation was very bland. Not as bland as the characters. The animation, it was alright. It didn't really do anything wrong, but I just thought that it could have been a little bit better. The music here was nothing special either. It's that typical shoujo romance music that you find in a lot of anime. So the English voice acting here is tolerable. You could watch this in either Japanese or English. It doesn't really matter. Of course, the Japanese voice acting is much better, but there are much larger problems about the series than simply its English voice acting. So I think if you can put up with some of the problems with the story, then you could put up with the English voice acting. So if you're looking for an anime romance slice of life series that is really short, only about 14 episodes long, and you're tired of the whole typical high school student, very immature characters, then I recommend you to check out Rumbling Hearts. It's a bit of a drama, and it's not perfect, but I think the biggest drama about it is that Mitsuki is stuck in this story with all of these blind characters and her idiot dumbass of a boyfriend. So anyways, if you've seen Rumbling Hearts, then let me know your thoughts about it in the comments section below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.